Welcome back to Messy Garage. Today I'm going to be working on my F30 BMW. I like the fitment of my wheels and tires. They fill up everything, but the problem is when you come down here, got a little poke on the side, and this unfortunately is not dirt. Those are stone chips from being kicked up from the rear tires. Again, I love how they look from behind. Nice and thick. Makes the back end look great, but the chips are a bit annoying, so that's what I'm going to try to prevent. So for all four sides, show you what I got real quick. I've got some mud flaps that should bolt right on. I'm using the fender bolts or the bumper bolts in the back. So they're already pre-drilled, come with screws, should be plug and play. What I need to do first is the car is a bit on the dirty side. We've had some weather here recently, so you notice it's not real clean. And I've got some little chipping on this side too, right here. So let me get the car outside. I'll get it cleaned off. You don't want to install these over dirty paint because then you're just going to be rubbing the dirt into your paint. At the back of the car. I think it's going to be a pretty easy install. If you look at this is the mud flap, and it's got, like I said, 3 on the rear ones, 3 holes that are already pre-drilled. And what you're going to do is there's 3 screws back here holding the fender liner onto the bumper. And I'm going to take those screws out. And then I'm going to try to do this without lifting the car up. I might have to lift the car up just to get some room to get tools in there. But once you get those screws out, then it's a matter of just putting it in here, and it will kind of slip around the bumper, and then just go like this. Once you do that, it's just a matter of reattaching the screws and using those holes obviously, and then the install's done. So that's what it ends up looking like. I don't think it takes away from the look of the car at all. Adds a little contrast of the black with the white on mine, but I'm just interested in saving the paint. So let me get this back one on. I'll show you the front one then, and then we'll pull it out into the daylight and see what it looks like. Okay, so to get this one on, I actually gave up the idea of doing it without getting the wheel off the ground. I just took the wheel off totally, just jacked up this side, and then what I want to do is show you, if I can. Alright, show you what we're looking at as far as the bolts. Alright, so there's one bolt there, and then there are one bolt here and one bolt there. So it does take a little finagling once you get those bolts out. These are the bolts I took out of the fender liner, these 3, and they do line up, but they don't line up perfect, so you'll need to just kind of coax the plastic to line up with the bolts, with the holes that you need. But other than that, it wasn't that big of a deal, and they went on really good. It's on there. Looks good.
72 hours later.
Okay, it's a couple days later, actually maybe almost a week later. I'm joining you guys back. When we were last looking at this, I had done the rears and discovered that I did have to take the tire off, check the car up, not a big deal. Came to the fronts, started working on those. You can see I got one done here, and had to postpone the mission, and I'll show you why. Instead of screws on the front, they are using these little plastic rivets. So you'll see these are the ones I took out of the front driver's side, and then here's the new rivets I bought. So I ordered a bag of them. So now what I'm going to do is I want to make sure they worked on the driver's side, and we will together do the passenger side to get this project done and dusted finally. So what I'm going to do, I'll jack the car up, get the wheel off. You don't need to see that, it's pretty uneventful. And then I will join you back, show you exactly what we're working with underneath the car, and finish this job off. So I've got the wheel off, and here's the fender arch. Here's the two rivets that we're talking about. One here, one there. They're going to match up with this hole and this hole. And then at the bottom of this, there is a screw here. That's an 8mm screw, and it's going to be up underneath here. Once you put the mudguard on, you'll be able to feel right exactly where that is. Pretty easy to get to with an 8mm ratchet. So that's what I'm going to do. The other thing is, since it has been about a week since I did this, remember I washed the car, I'm going to hit this with some detail spray just to make sure it's clean, because it's got a little bit of road grime on it. Again, you don't want to put these over a dirty car. Use whatever you guys want to use. I'm using Chemical Guys, works pretty good to get road grime off of this area. I use this a lot of times if I'm going to like a car meet or something like that, and I just want to get whatever I picked up on the way there, any dirt, get it off my car so it looks good. But it's a pretty good detail spray, and I got the dirt off from around here. So what we want to do is try to get up under here with a trim tool. So these are just nylon trim tools that I've got. I'm going to see how much I can get this out. A couple different things I've tried doing. One of them was also take a pick tool, and what I'm attempting to do is to see if I can coax this centerpiece out. See if I can get it in focus. So this centerpiece here is what expands the rivet and holds it in. I'm not really having a whole lot of luck digging that out with a pick tool. So the easy way to do it, because it's not coming out here, might not be the right way. Leave in the comments if you have a better way to do this. It'll be a little late for me, but it'll help the other people that are watching this. But another thing you can do is just take a pick tool, push in the middle of it, and then that rivet comes right out. What you're essentially doing is you're just taking that plastic piece and pushing it all the way through. So then what you're left with is just an empty rivet with no stem in it. Comes right out. That's the good news. Bad news is now it's like a 10mm socket and lost in your car forever. So we will Do that with this one as well. Alright, so I got both of those out. The 8mm is going to be exactly under here. So take your socket, you can feel the head, and then alright, so with this bolt out, here's what it looks like. Seen those all over the place if you've done anything on your car. I'm just going to get this in place and then start to at least thread it in there so I can hold. This is kind of like an oblong shape, so you have a little bit of adjustment here that you can make to make it fit how you want. Alright, so that's got a couple threads going through it. Alright, so now you want to take your rivet, put it in the hole, and then try to get to line up with the other hole in the fender itself. Alright, that one's in. Then you take your other one. Alright, same thing. So now, you want to grab your trim tool again. You want to press hard against this. Make sure you press the rivet in tight, as tight as you can, and then you just push it straight in. Do that for the second one. Alright, that's on there. Now, I'm going to just tighten up the 8mm under there, put the wheel back on, and I'll join you back in a second. Alright, so here is the final result. Here's my car, and there's the front. There's the back. I think it turned out pretty good. Pretty pleased with it. No more road rash. And I like the contrast of the matte black against the white. I think it looks good. Alright, so I will leave a link in the description for all the tools and the parts I used, namely the mud flaps themselves, and also a link to the rivets that I found in the video description. Alright, like and subscribe, and there'll be more content on the way. Thanks. You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go. Click on some other videos, but